What's up, guys? I am back with another show and tell here. What I have is a Sig P365 9mm. I do have a loaded magazine. We're gonna go ahead and remove that, but I have nothing in the chamber. So this is my second Sig P365. I bought one at the beginning of this year when they first came out, and I don't know, I think maybe I put 100 rounds through it. It operated fine. I didn't have any problems with it, but I ended up selling it. I wanted to buy another pistol, and I just bought this one last week. I'm trying to think of what today is. It's Friday, July 20th. So yeah, I just bought this last week. So anyway, I know there's lots of reviews, lots of videos out there on this guy. This born date was, I think, June 28th, 2018. So it's not even a month old. I have not been able to shoot this yet, but I have shot my original one, so I know how it fires. I'm kind of glad that I did sell my first one, because it sounded like the first couple of batches that came out had nothing but problems with it. What I'm mostly seeing a lot of was a dead trigger, wasn't firing. So sounds like Sig remedied the problem. Sound like it had something to do with the striker, I think, or I don't know, something in there with the trigger mechanism. Obviously, if it was a dead trigger. But anyway, I just want to do a quick show and tell. I like doing these because it kind of gives a good size reference. I usually put my height and weight and the size gloves that I wear in most of my videos. I try to anyway, to give it a better size comparison. I am 6'1", probably about 315, 320 pounds, and I do have 2 XL size hands. And I do basically smother this P365 in my hands. So this would be my normal grip, and probably have to keep my thumb tucked up somehow. But anyway, the first one that I owned, it shot fine, and the recoil is almost non-existent, but that's pretty much because I conceal this little guy in both of my hands. The thing that I really like about this P365 is the trigger. So I'm gonna show you here. I'm trying to get my little bit better contrast with the background. So not much take up before you hit the wall, and then there's just a little bit of creep, and then it fires. The other thing that blew me away on this is the reset also. It is a very positive audible reset. I really like this. The thing I really like is how they were able to squeeze 10 rounds into this little guy. It does come with two magazines, one with somewhat of a pinky extension. And if you got big old bear paws like me, it's not going to do any good. And then there's a flush base magazine. Now I did see that they have 12 round magazines out. I was able to mess with a demo one. It wasn't a live magazine, and the shop that I buy a majority of my stuff at doesn't have them in stock, and I think they were selling for like 55 bucks, and he was like, yeah, those are on back order. We're probably not going to get any of those for a while. So anyway, the plus I like about this little 365, it has the X-ray night sights on it. And let me tell you, these things glow super bright at night. They're very nice. And I think that's where Sig is. Now, I'm going to be trying to be very careful with my words, because I posted a video on a Sig P320X carry that I bought at the beginning of this year that's been just basically a money pit, nothing but problems. But where I think Sig is kind of holding themselves above water is with their sights. These X-ray night sights are amazing. I love them on my P320X carry. I'm going to tell you a little bit of story about my P320X carry that I bought. So I I probably ran, let's say, about 3,000 rounds maybe through that, which should be well more than enough for this firearm to be broken in. The 320, not this guy. And it is having failure to feeds, failure to ejects, failure to fires, double feeds. And yeah, I made 2 videos of it and posted it on YouTube. And clearly there's more Sig fanboys out there than any other fans out there, because I got bashed a lot on those videos, which is fine. That's your prerogative if you want to post stuff like that. But I do post very honest feedback, whether I like it or not. And if I don't like it, I'm explaining why, not just say, hey, this is a piece of shit, and that be it. But I really like that 320. I put some work into it. I had the handle re-stippled because it was a little slick when I first bought it. And have a high-end holster for it, and 3,000 is probably more than 3,000 rounds that I ran through it. That's not cheap either. So, and it's unfortunate. I've contacted Sig a couple times, so I'm trying to explain it with this little guy. So, the recoil spring plate here. So even after all the rounds that I've put through that 320, it's still, like if I did a press check, and I want to talk about that. I'm trying not to sidebar too much here, but oh my God, I cannot believe how many people are like, why do you press check? That's like against the law, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know what? You do what you do, I'll do what I do. So anyway, if I'm doing a press check on my 320, it stays like that. The spring, I guarantee, is weak. I've contacted Sig and was like, hey, this thing's not going in the battery. Sig's like, oh, that's how it was designed, blah, blah, blah. It's not supposed to do that. You have to assist at home. That's the only firearm. I have almost 50 handguns. And that's the first handgun I've ever had to assist home from doing a press check. So even this little guy returns to battery. I'm trying to let it go as light as possible, and it's going fully into battery. So anyway, I really like that Sig. That's not the only Sig I own besides this one. I have a couple of Sigs. My other favorite is my Sig 220. But that 320X carry, man, I wouldn't even feel right selling that to somebody because it's not reliable. It's not 100%. So I'm gonna give one more stab at it. I'm gonna try and run about 500 rounds through it, and then after that, I don't care what Sig says, I'm sending it back. So anyway, done with the 320. P365. See if that picks it up on there. Yep. That's the thing I like about this little guy. It's not a billboard. It's got front and rear cock inserations, and then the P365 to identify it. Let's see if we can pick up the sights. No, my camera's not focusing. Anyway, they are TG-H3s. So sometimes I keep this on my nightstand on my bed, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and these things are glowing. Like, it'll light up my bedroom. It's crazy. But anyway, I am on the hunt right now. I know there's several companies out there right now making holsters for this little guy. I don't know if I'm gonna do an inside the waistband or a pocket holster. This thing is small enough for me to run in my pocket, and it's light enough. I run a Smith & Wesson model 642, the hammerless one, in a pocket holster. And it's actually it's actually wider than this and bigger than this gun. So takedown is pretty easy, pretty standard. This is another thing too that I do have a lot of oil on this. I run a G96 oil, something I just started using at the beginning of this year. I used to use regular REM oil. But anyway, when I first got this thing, it was in a clear plastic bag, which a lot of firearms, are kind of packed in a bag of some nature or other. And like I was talking in my last video about my FNX 45 and my FNX 9, it's like they just like dip these things in oil and put them in a plastic bag. Like it was pretty wet. So I don't think I've seen a video on this yet, but you see my takedown lever. See how that's stuck right there? It took me the longest time to figure that out. I can't remember if there was a video on it or not. So basically all you're doing is you're gonna push up the tab on your slide release, slide stop, and let that fall forward, and then release it, and it's back. So if any of you are watching this and you own one of these and you couldn't figure out how to get your takedown lever back, to get your slide back on, now you know. So anyway, I don't really have anything else much to say about this. This is going to get a lot of trigger time. I am going to push this. Now it's funny, now it doesn't want to go back on. I am going to push this to the test. I am going to run this thing as hard as I can on its first outing. So anyway, that's funny. I'm making a video on how to get my slide, the breakdown lever back, and now my slide doesn't want to go back on. Kind of feel like an idiot here. That's fine. I'll claim that. Yeah, this thing's not wanting to go on at all. Probably going to get a lot of slack from a lot of you Sig fanboys out there about how much of an idiot I am, and it's operator error, and every Sig runs flawless 100% of the time. So anyway, I got it back on. Who's laughing now, right? So anyway, guys, I'm going to give an update on this. I'm probably going to try and run 1,000 rounds through this on its first shoot. So not 1,000 like as fast as I can. I'm going to shoot other guns too, because I don't want to melt this thing and have this inoperable on its first outing. But I am going to push for 1,000 rounds on this. If not, it's going to be over 500. I have a lot of ammo, and I am in the process of moving to another state, so I definitely want to get some trigger time on this guy. Anyway, sorry guys for the rambling on, but I did want to do a show and tell. And if you guys have one of these, leave some comments. Let me know what you guys think of it. How many rounds you guys have had through it? Do you have any problems? I'm not anticipating any problems since this was born just a little under a month ago. And what I seen on a video was, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pick this up on a camera, but anyway, there is, let's see if we can do it this way. No, can't really get the lighting in there. But anyway, there is a little spring down in here that I guess was scratching the back of the magazines. So I can see like the tip of a spring head protruding out just a little bit, but I've put in and out magazines in this, I don't know, a couple hundred times just messing with this. Hasn't scratched it. So anyway, guys, hope y'all have a good night.